These are the rules a woman should agree to if a man pays 100% of the bills. Number one, a man should have to do no cooking, cleaning, or house chores of any kind if he's paying 100% of the bills. If there's kids involved, those homework papers, the activities, the lunches, all the responsibility of the mother. That shouldn't fall upon the man. Working a 12-hour shift and coming home to a dirty home, no food cooked, and kids that don't have homework done is diabolical work, especially for a 100% provider man. Many modern women, though, want this type of deal. They want men to do it all financially, and then domestically, they want to split the chores 50-50. And this is a bad deal for these providers, okay? Rule number 2, if a woman divorces a man who pays 100% of the bills, she should leave with absolutely nothing but what she brought into the marriage. She did not assist him in the financial success. She should not benefit from divorcing him. Divorce should not be rewarded.
Oh boy, are you ready for this? I had to make sure I had a good lunch before diving into this hot mess. Hi there, I'm Jenny Gage, and this is Life Take 2, where I share my escape from the hell that was Mormon tradwife life. Thanks for watching. When I do response videos, I'm not just picking on that one guy who happened to say one thing on one weird video online. I try to find themes that I'm hearing people talk about in real life that I know are more trending so that I can respond to a general issue and a systemic problem. And one of the reasons why I decided I wanted to respond to this particular video is that a couple months ago, I participated in a Zoom workshop conference where we had a group of men who were all divorced and not paying child support. And we asked a series of questions to dive into why these men weren't paying child support. So I want to start first with this man's second point in his video. If you've been a stay-at-home mom, your husband's been the provider, all you've been doing is raising the kids, cooking the dinner, all that stuff, then you do not deserve anything in divorce. In our workshop with the men not paying child support, this sentiment was echoed by all of the men. It didn't matter if the wife had no way to support herself at all, if she had never gotten an education, had never had a career, even if she had had a substantial amount of time that she had been at home, and clearly as a couple, they had both benefited from her being at home. 100% of the men in our group said that they felt their providing for her during their marriage was it, and it should end with a divorce. They all thought that alimony should be illegal. They thought that courts shouldn't even have alimony. It shouldn't even exist. And we heard very black and white thinking, very either she can be married to me and live here and then she can get support, or she can divorce me and get absolutely nothing. And there was absolutely no nuance to any of their thoughts on this topic. It was a real eye-opener to me. I had been married for 24 years. I had dropped out of college for my husband. I had given up my career for my children. And when I left my marriage, I felt like I had invested everything into this relationship. I was unable to care for myself. So naturally, my husband, who had great financial benefit from being able to work and not take care of the kids, should support me. I felt like alimony was not only a necessity, but something that I deserved for my investment in our relationship. After all, I hadn't been paid to raise my kids. I just worked for room and board, and I didn't have any money of my own when we divorced. So my payment was alimony and child support. If you're new here and you haven't heard my sob story, I became homeless because the month after our marriage finalized, my ex-husband just decided that he was never going to pay alimony. He knew the courts weren't going to enforce it. He pays a small amount of child support, but I received only one of the 5 years of alimony payments that I was supposed to be paid, and he had already liquidated and hidden all of our assets, so I didn't receive a divorce settlement. We had no assets. We didn't have a home to sell or anything like that. And I felt like it was really unfair that I had put so much into our relationship to be left homeless and with absolutely nothing. But there are a lot of men out there who think that you've already gotten everything out of them that you're going to get out of them. The men in our group were also really angry about having stay-at-home moms. They felt at some point like they were being exploited, and there was a lot of resentment and a lot of bitterness, and really we didn't hear any appreciation or any gratitude for the women and the things that they had done in their homes. It was just, she's mooching off of me, I'm her sugar daddy, I'm just a paycheck. And ladies, this is an extremely important mindset for you to understand, because I'm sure that all of these couples, when they fell in love and first started family planning and then having their babies, and the women started to phase themselves out of the workplace. I'm sure that all of these couples were both equally engaged in what they were doing. I'm sure that for the most part, the men in the beginning were really excited to be providers and to have a family until they weren't anymore. If you're in the early years of a relationship, just know this, that somewhere in the middle and towards the end, and if it does actually end, they will hate you and they will think that you don't deserve a penny. And you should also know this little bit of data: less than 17% of alimony is ever collected. Should we talk about who he thinks should do the chores? Here are my thoughts on that topic. No adult human being should ever be dependent on another adult human being for anything, not for finances, not for simple tasks, not for their food, not for their laundry, not for their child rearing. Whether you're working 12 hours a day or not, you should still be taking care of yourself and your family and your basic tasks. And I always find it hilarious, since I am in communities with women who are divorced and people who are in relationships, how that single moms do absolutely everything. I, as a single mom, woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to work my windshield job for a couple of hours before I got my kids up, and then took them to school, did the carpools, and then went to a job in an elementary school, got done with that at 1 o'clock, went back out to do my windshield job, picked the kids up from their schools, did the homework, and then I had an evening job on top of that. I was working 3 jobs, 7 days a week, from 5 o'clock in the morning until whenever I finished up at night. And guess who was doing all of the cooking and the cleaning and the homework and all of that stuff too? That was all me. Somehow women are capable of doing abso-fucking-lutely everything, but men aren't capable of going to work and then coming home and doing their own laundry, fixing dinner a couple nights a week, doing some homework with the kids. And if that's really the case, then we as a society have failed. Instead of raising grown men, we've raised a bunch of half-grown baby boys. I hope that you can all see with me how problematic this situation is. On the one hand, you're supposed to stay home, not make any money of your own, take care of the kids, and just devote your life to your husband. But if the marriage fails, you're just out on the streets. Tough stuff, buttercup. So where are you supposed to live? A women's shelter? A little tent in the ravine? This is what I call the tradwife trap. I invented that phrase, and I think I should trademark it. And ladies, no matter how nice the house, no matter how fancy the cars, no matter how great the vacations are, or how relaxing it seems to just be able to do whatever you want during the day while he makes all the money and all you're doing is running around with kids, no matter how idyllic this life seems, this is absolutely not a trap that you ever want to get yourself stuck in. So what's a girl to do? West 4Bs, birth strike, single cat lady? Where are we at with all this? The answer can be a little bit complex. I teach this to my Man Proof Your Life clients, but it's also relatively simple. We need to stop having transactionships and start having relationships. A man is not a plan. He can be your boyfriend, your husband, your lover, your fiance, your bestie, whatever you want him to be. But go into the connection with that guy as just love and connection and friendship, and leave the money out of it. Make your own money and protect your assets with spousal trust and some other things that I'll link a video here that you should check out. The thing is, when we as women start taking care of ourselves and providing for our own future, everything gets better. Our lives, our children's lives, our husbands' lives, society in general. Data shows that self-reliant women contribute to an increase in the standard of living across the board. And what these provider men don't realize is this: when women come into the relationship and do some of the providing themselves, then we stop this terrible American late stage capitalistic industrialized complex cycle of exploiting men whose wives contribute to the household, have more time to actually be dads. They have time to sit down with the homework. They have time to throw a football. They have time to breathe and relax and actually spend some quality time with their partners. It's actually really sad how much our American nuclear family model harms the men and breaks down those relationships between fathers and kids. Let's leave this whole system in the 2020s and never go back there again. Thanks for watching, and I'll be hanging out in the comments.